This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
Trying to take away your First Amendment rights, your rights to assemble peacefully, and the media being on the thug side? What the heck are you guys thinking, media? It doesn't make sense.
Violence for simply supporting a candidate for president in the United States of America. Repeatedly, Donald Trump backers are being attacked for nothing more than going to a Trump rally. Today we hear from Juan Hernandez, a gay Hispanic man who was assaulted at a Trump rally in San Jose. Hernandez feared for his life. His crime? Wearing a Make America Great Again cap. We're so happy to be joined by Juan to hear his story, find out how he is more behind Trump than ever, and to learn why coming out of the closet was easy compared to admitting to liberal bullies that he's going to vote for Donald J. Trump. A great show just ahead with Juan Hernandez. Sarah Palin shreds the farce that is Black Lives Matter after 5 Dallas police officers are murdered. Palin-powered Darrell Glenn wins the GOP primary in Colorado. Sarah Steelman has the latest edition of Steel Resolve in Missouri. Tamara Colbert is on assignment this week. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. In America, we have free speech. You have the right to assemble. You can support and vote for whoever the heck you want. But lately, thugs have made that hard for some. Again and again, Donald Trump supporters are being attacked at rallies. Today, Juan Hernandez is here. He was jumped at a Trump rally in California for no reason. Juan was beaten and bloodied, but now this gay American Trump supporter is more energized to make America great again than ever before. We're so excited to hear his story. And now we are happy to have Juan Hernandez join us on the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Juan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we'd like to talk to you because you're a Donald Trump supporter, but we're also talking to you because of what happened to you, unfortunately, at a Donald Trump rally in San Jose, California. And you'd like to think everybody knows about this by now, but of course, as we know, the media doesn't always report on everything, especially if it looks on a negative light for anti-Trump people. So I'd rather hear it from you, Juan, instead of me going into it. Let's tell everybody first what happened to you at a rally in San Jose, California a little while back. And this was the same rally, wasn't it, where the woman was egged?
Yep. Yeah, it was the one where she was egged over in San Jose. So we were at the rally. Trump rally was great. It was full of energy and positive and room for the person that we want to be the next commander-in-chief. And we walk out, and I'm thinking, okay, the protesters are cleared out. It'll be good. And we walk out, and there's all kinds of protesters right when you walk out. It looked pretty controlled. The cops led us down a different direction than we came in. When we came out, a lot of the supporters, if you made a left and go into the parking garage, that's where we were all parked. But for some reason, they didn't let any of us go in there, and instead they led us around, I think it was like 3 or 4 additional blocks. And somehow the way the cops led us, the police formation was dwindling, and then they guided us right into the protesters. So now we're walking through the protesters and us as the Trump supporters, and people are just getting picked off. They're coming up, they're doing sucker punches, the protesters to the supporters, they're doing sucker punches, they're ripping off the hats, they're burning the hats, they're burning the American flag, they have the Mexican flag, and they're chanting. And it was like I almost felt like it was kind of like the rapture, and they were starting to pull people up, and all that was sitting there with these protesters, and we're waiting for our chance to go up, and you're seeing these people get attacked, and like you want to help them. It's kind of, you think, okay, do I want to help them, or do I keep walking? Because I know that I look around and there's San Jose Police Department standing around just watching the people get attacked. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can't stop because it's going to be me next. And so we kept walking. We kind of started running, and we turned a corner, and I realized that we're completely in protesters' territory. And a friend and I are wearing Make America Great Again hats, and the protesters saw us, flagged us, and they started marching to us. I think there's probably about 7 or 8 of them. And as soon as they made eye contact, I thought, okay, now it's our turn. Like, this is it now. And so they came up to us and just started swinging on us. There was no conversation or anything. They just came up and started sucker punching. Clocked me in the nose. My nose started pouring blood. And I'm trying to hold myself up because I think I've seen too many movies where, there's a mob and they get someone on the floor and they start kicking them in, their chest and their head. And I thought, oh my God, like, I'd never really been in a fight. So, like, I didn't realize the adrenaline that kicks in and, like, survival mode. And so I was just bracing myself. Hopefully I didn't fall over. And when I came up, I think they all saw my nose just pouring blood, and they kind of stepped back for a second. And I took that break, and I grabbed my friend, and we started running to our car in the parking garage. And we think it's over. We go into the parking garage, and there's another mob of protesters. And it's like, oh my God, like, how I didn't know what to do except get in the car and start going to the exit. But because the gate was closed to exit the parking structure, the protesters just started coming to the cars and started climbing on the cars, started shaking them, started kicking them, and pretty soon they were like 2 cars away from getting us. And then the parking thing opened, the gate, and we all just took off running through with our cars, and then we made it out. But that was pretty much what happened.
You could leave someone speechless telling this story, or you could say, let's listen to Juan's story and then fill in the blanks, guess where he is, and you would think you were in a war scene, a war zone. You're trying to run, you used words survival mode, running to your car for supporting a candidate, going to a rally, hearing someone speak is all you did, and you are chased down like that and punched in the nose for absolutely no reason. I mean, this is something that's evolved over just the last, 10, 15, 20 years. People had very heated debates, Bush Clinton and Bush Kerry and Bush Gore and Obama McCain and on and on and on. But this is unbelievable. And Juan, all due respect to you, you're calling them protesters. I mean, to me, a protester is somebody holding a sign and yelling. This is an assault. These are attackers who are coming up to you and punching you in the nose because you're wearing a particular hat for Donald Trump. I mean, did you feel for your life?
Yeah, at that point I did. I mean, I didn't know. When you have that many people on you, and to me it was a lot of people, when you have 3 or 4 people on you, and they have, and you saw people doing that other when we're walking, it's like, oh my God, like, this could be it. Like, this could be it. I couldn't think anything but this is it. This is it. And but the thing that really gets me is, yeah, the attackers. They're justice is going to be happening with them. They've already arrested, I think, 20 attackers now from San Jose. But the thing that gets me is that the police didn't do anything. And to me, my initial rant was that the police failed that night. Like, they failed because you're watching them do nothing. And when I heard Mayor Liccardo of San Jose come out and say, his initial statement was that basically Trump sparked what was going on. Like, if it wasn't for Trump, then none of this would have happened. And I thought, okay, so now we let our political biases get in the way of the police chief doing what he's supposed to do and protecting the people. Like, I couldn't believe that. And so then when he made a second statement, and he was trying to do damage control, it was obvious. And I'm not letting go. Like, I'm working with legal counsel. I just signed the paperwork so we can figure out what the next step is to go against the city and the police chief and the mayor. And if this were the other way around, if I was a Democrat and a supporter came in, did this to me, like, it would still be on the news.
Well, you would have been at the White House by now, like the kid who made the quote unquote bomb clock. I mean, you would have been, you and Obama would be filling out basketball brackets together. Yeah, you got it, Juan. There's no doubt about that. We know how this works. Now, but you the best point you just made is you just used the words, "I'm not letting go." That is why you're on the show today. That is why we wanted to talk to you. That is exactly what they don't want you to do. They feel that they will threaten and, in some cases, in your case, attack and physically assault, beat down people, so someone will say, wait a minute, I'm in danger here. Maybe this Trump thing isn't right. Trying to somehow bully you into changing what you're doing in America. It's absolutely amazing. And if we don't have people like Juan Hernandez standing up despite what just happened to you, unfortunately, their underhanded tactics would work. So we commend you for that one.
Yeah, I hear right now, with all the media that's happening with that happened in Dallas and what happened over in Louisiana, and it's like the cops here. The mayor had said in one of his statements that he told the officers, and this is a public statement he made, that the officers had to kind of judge which attacks they were going to intervene, because the minute they throw a baton out there, the media is going to be all over it, and it's going to be a controversy on San Jose PD. And I thought, okay, that was it. That was it that did it to me. So let's protect the controversy, and let's let people get attacked. And so that's why I'm not letting up on them. And it can't. Someone has to be accountable for it. Someone, whether it's the police chief or the mayor, someone has to be accountable for it.
Well, Governor Palin certainly pointed the finger at the San Jose mayor when this happened, and so have a lot of others. And, he came out, tried to backtrack things a little bit. Did you hear anything on the ground, either yourself or third party, that, some of the officers said, hey, look, we were told to stand down? Because, the mayor is obviously denying that now.
Right. So we have I know a couple of people actually who went to the cops and said, why aren't you doing anything? And they said, because we were told that we can't intervene. We were told to stand down. And so we have, my attorney, we've gotten statements from some of the different witnesses that have talked to the police. And yeah, we're building a really good, solid case right now to figure out what we're going to do next.
You mentioned about 20 of these thugs were taken in or arrested. Do you have any idea about the 7 or 8 who came after you personally, and if they've been apprehended?
I've seen a couple of them that were arrested.
Yeah, no, that must make you feel a little better, I suppose. But so tell us, Juan. Governor Palin just talking about Dallas and calling out Black Lives Matter. She said, hyphenating America destroys us, and I couldn't agree more. That said, we know that that's what the left does all the time. Everyone is pigeonholed into the group they want them to be in, especially if you're a Christian or especially if you're a white male. We know what kind of, or a police officer, we know what kind of flack they get from the left. So to play their own game.
If you go outside of that, then they're all over you. You're a sellout.
Right, exactly. So to play their own game, let's let everybody know that this Donald Trump supporter is a gay Hispanic, Juan Hernandez. So, that doesn't fit into their narrative either, does it, Juan, when somebody like you is roughed up? And isn't that amazing? Like, what do you think of the left and Hillary and everybody else? I mean, all they do is talk about how they're for gays, how they're for lesbians, how they're for women, how they're for minorities. But if you're for Donald Trump, well, then you don't really count. That we didn't mean you.
Right. Yeah. It's. I don't know how Hillary. She's the one who they voted for the Defense of Marriage Act. She's the one who put in the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and then she's having the people come in here, the Muslim extremists, the ones who kill and who persecute gays and lesbians. But yet, let's support her in what she's doing instead of Donald Trump, who his past record in business has showed that he supports the LGBT community. But no, let's just go with what we're told to go with.
Supporting countries that throw gays off of buildings for no reason, and yet she is the beloved in the community, or at least, the media will have you believe that. So let's talk about this quickly, Juan. As a gay Hispanic, and I hate calling you that, we're all Americans, and enough with these, but we're going to do what the Dems do. We're going to want to play that game when it doesn't fit their narrative? Well, here we go. We have Juan Hernandez today. Why Donald Trump? Why are you so passionate about him? Because a lot of people get punched in the nose for anything. They don't go back, and here you are. You seem more lively and fired up than ever.
Oh, definitely. We even went to the Las Vegas rally where he was at. Going to the RNC next week, which I'm stoked about. I can't wait to go there. But I believe in protecting our borders. I believe that they need to be protected right now on all ends. That includes Mexico. That includes building a wall. That includes overcoming from the refugees, getting those immigrants that are coming in here. I believe more than any other time, I believe that we need to stop them from coming in, and I feel very strongly about that, about protecting our borders right now. When there's a proper vetting system, when Trump gets into office, I think it'll be great. Let's go from there. But right now, let's stop them from coming in. And we already have a big immigrant population here. I live in San Jose. It's Silicon Valley, so a very wealthy area. But we're filled with homeless people still. And so I see these homeless people that are on the streets, and I think, and they want to bring more people in. Yeah, let's bring more people in. Let's forget about what we have now. But I don't know. I fear ISIS. And so my passion is for keeping the extremists out. And we don't know who is an extremist or not. So if that means cutting off the refugees, then so be it. And I have some Muslim friends, and it's kind of caused a little bit of a strain because they think that we should let them all in. And they asked me what my viewpoints are, and I said, "Are you sure you want to know what they are?" And I tell them, and there goes a couple other friends.
And amazing. You can't disagree. And I've never understood that. And you see this again and again, and it's always from the left. I mean, I have plenty of friends, all backgrounds. I know they're wrong, and I know they're far left on what they're saying, but it doesn't mean you can't speak to them and differ. But we see this all the time. How hard has it been for you to tell people, and I'm going to use the phrase "come out" as a Trump supporter? I mean, you say you've lost some friends. How hard has that been for you among people that you hang out with and peers and colleagues?
Yeah, so I have some close friends that know that I'm Republican. They really didn't know too much about the Trump because it's in this area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, to come out as a Trump supporter, as a Republican Trump supporter. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be when it happened. That's why, coming out gay, it's like coming out gay was nothing compared to coming out as a Trump supporter. Wow. And because I'm a sellout, I'm going away. I don't root for gay, lesbian, LGBT rights. I believe in the wall, and that's just a whole nother thing. But I'm going through every day. I'm deleting at least 5 or 10 people off my Facebook because they feel that they're able to aggressively attack me for being a Trump supporter. Because there aren't many of us around this area, and so when a Democrat finds you and they're like, "Oh, okay, you're one of the other people. You're the people that are trying to divide," and because they don't find that many of them, they attack the minute they know someone who's a Trump supporter, and I don't even engage in it because the left doesn't want to debate. They just want to let me know what their viewpoint is and tell me how wrong I am. And I start talking, and it gets nowhere. So I don't engage. But it's been difficult. It's been really difficult. It's been sad. But, I'm not going to, now that I'm completely, out of the closet now,
as a Trump supporter.
Right. It's almost empowering. I guess kind of when someone comes out not in a LGBT friendly area, but it's almost empowering now that I'm out. And yeah, it's like I kicked open the door and here I am.
Yeah. Right. Sarah Palin talked about the glass ceiling. You had to bust open the Trump door, right? I mean, I hope people hear what you just said. I really want this to sink in. You just said coming out as a gay man was cake compared to coming out as a Trump supporter, as saying there's two people running for president, the Democrat and the Republican. I'm voting for this one. That was more difficult because of the bullies and because of people pressuring you because, oh, my goodness, look at Juan. He's actually for the guy who won't fund countries that slaughter gays on a daily basis. If trying to wrap yourself around that mentality, it's unbelievable. And then you said about the dividing. It would be one thing if it was not happening on the other side, but they're saying to you that you and the candidate you're for are doing exactly what Obama, Hillary, and that crew are doing. They're the great dividers, whether it's gay versus straight, rich versus poor, Christian versus non-Christian, man versus woman. They've done this since Obama's been in, the fundamental change that he warned us about.
Yeah, I wish you were. I wish I had you here with me when people are coming and attacking me. Just like have one other person with me that's saying exactly what you're saying, because they're not hearing it when I explain it to them. And for the LGBT community, I started off life as, do I dare say, a Democrat. Like that's where my parents started too, but they've gone over to the right also. But I started as a Democrat, and I started. I was very highly involved with LGBT rights and Prop 22, which was in the year 2000, the gay marriage thing, and then Prop 8 when it happened again over in California. And so I've been fighting for LGBT rights since I was like 18, and I'm 38 now. And then like one day I thought, I've been voting conservatively, and it's so much more than just LGBT rights that I care about. And so that's when I actually came over to the Republican Party, and I belong to Log Cabin Republican, which is the LGBT group organization within the Republican Party. And so I'm still fighting for my LGBT rights, on top of voting for all the other rights that I see that supports the nation. But of course they don't see that because I'm not in that pigeonhole anymore. I'm a sellout, and But I don't know how much time I have, but the Republican Party the people that have reached out to me has been absolutely amazing. It's been so overwhelming of the GOP that has reached out to me and given support and telling me to keep going, to stay strong. And it's like, I cannot believe how overwhelming it has been. It has been so voluminous. It's been amazing. It's been such a journey since this has happened.
Well, Juan, you're a leader for us. You really are, because, it's hard enough. As a straight white male, just telling people Trump and Palin, you're looked at like you're from another planet in certain parts of this country, let alone if you're black, let alone if you're Jewish, let alone if you're a woman, and let alone if you're gay. Forget it. And for you, and you could see how some people get beaten down and say, well, I guess this is right because I'm bombarded with this not only face-to-face, but through social media and through the lamestream media and everywhere else. But but you hit it. They try to pigeonhole groups, all groups, not just gays. They try to pigeonhole groups, and they really make people look stupid, as if gay marriage is the only issue out there. Oh, that's what you vote on, but in the meantime, we're going to go against everything else you believe in, whether it be, the system that we have here in America, whether it be capitalism, whether it be other social issues, other fiscal issues. Apparently, you're not supposed to have a brain in any other way. And they do this to blacks. They do this to women. They do it to everyone. And that's how, because if you went just on common sense, they would get no votes. So this is the only way they can do this, is to scare you and or threaten. And you're standing up, and you got to keep talking. And, people know what's going on now, and it's we hear a lot of the words thrown around like courageous for people who've done nothing. Well, I appreciate you, man, going out there and going back to these rallies, because I couldn't kill you if you said I wasn't going back, because you got to look out for yourself too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit terrified, especially what's happening now with Dallas and what the left is coming out with. So I'm a little bit nervous about going over to the RNC, even though security is going to be really tight. But still, they're vicious. They don't care. They don't have, from what I've seen, at least in San Jose, they have no morals. They have no ethics. They're the ones who draw the moral line. It's okay for them to throw a fist. But the minute, the egg lady is what they call her, the minute that she throws her middle finger up or whatever, I don't know what it feels like to have that many people coming at you, and if that's what her defense mechanism is, then that's what it is.
And you're hurting no one. It's like when they attack Mr. Trump for using words like lightweight or dope or something. What is that's worse than the actual dangerous policies that have been enacted by this administration? Same thing here. You just nailed it, Juan. Everybody likes to blame guns every time anything happens. You just hit it. What did Juan Hernandez just say? No morals, no ethics. That is what we need to stop and combat, not an implement or how people are doing things. It's nuts, but you know what? As we see, you're not allowed in that party unless you're lock, stock, and barrel with all of their policies. And we see how Donald Trump and people like yourself have expanded the Republican Party. I mean, look at the support Donald Trump has, from conservatives to moderates to Democrats to all different people. And, it's how Reagan did it. And we got to keep optimistic. And, Juan, we wish you the best. Safety in Cleveland, you're going to be fine. And we'd love to talk to you again as we get toward November. And anything you need from us, please. And you can follow Juan on Twitter at Mr. Juan Hernandez, and also on Facebook at Juan Hernandez LCR, which is Log Cabin Republicans. Juan Hernandez, thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
For more on Juan, check out Juan Hernandez LCR on Facebook and follow Juan on Twitter at Mr. Juan Hernandez. That's MR Juan Hernandez. After 5 brave policemen were murdered in Dallas last week, Sarah Palin blasted the hate group Black Lives Matter. This is a bit lengthy, but so important to hear. Palin wrote, "Black Lives Matter is a farce, and hyphenating America destroys us. Our prayers are with the fallen. On that thin blue line in Dallas, America lost heroes last night as men in uniform did their unfathomably courageous job running into danger to protect others from it. Honorable first responders deserve our utmost respect and support. Shame on our culture's influencers who would stir contention and division that could lead to evils such as that in Dallas. Shame on politicians and pundits giving credence to thugs rioting against police officers and the rule of law in the name of peaceful protests. It is a farce. Black Lives Matter is a farce. Media, quit claiming the rioters are peaceful as they stomp on our flag, shout death to cops, and celebrate violence. It is sick. You perpetuate a perverted message evil men thrive on to intimidate and warp malleable minds that would believe one race matters more than another. Blood is on your complicit hands when you naively or purposefully refuse to tell of the movement's truth. Black Lives Matter? Yes, more than BLM protesters can grasp, as evidenced by their self-destructive provocateurism. Doesn't it go without saying that Native lives matter too, and Asian and Eskimo and Hispanic and Indian and every other race comprised of people who see clearly the agenda at play to weaken America through disunity? Get fed up and stand up if you're sick of being called racist when proclaiming every life matters, black as much as white and every skin tone in between, every innocent life at every stage of life on the side of good over evil matters. Why let the damaging false narrative prevail if you know it's a lie? Speak up. Join me in refusing to go willingly with society trying to crown deceptive political correctness the victor. Self-descriptions that put any race in front of being an American are now used to further divide our nation. It's time to acknowledge you're either an American under our system of equality, law and order, and traditional patriotic spirit, or you're not. Knock off the hyphenation of who we are and knock off the shoulder chip if you've let leaders burden you with it through their example that sadly capitalizes on division for untoward purposes. That chip is crushing the people's hope. My youngest daughter recently confirmed the sensibility in this when she stated, "It would be sad to call myself an Eskimo American instead of just a proud American like everyone else." Seeing partial footage of this week's victims' tragic deaths at the hands of police officers is mind-boggling. It's nauseating. Granted, early reports rarely encapsulate all the facts of individual cases, but my heart is with victims' families as I sympathize with anyone defenseless in these situations. More so, I empathize if we find out any cop involved was in the wrong, for I abhor bad cops. I abhor police union leadership that regularly protects bad cops and discredits citizens voicing concern over bad actors in authority. I've been there. Many of you know my own experience with well-publicized, constant, frightening encounters and threats to my family to bring us down via a badge and gun. We suffered an exhausting era knowing we were defenseless against a bad cop, his union, and a gleefully politicized media never reporting the truth. Threats that included the promise we'd be pulled over for whatever reason, destroyed, and any judge will believe the badge over the citizen. The decade-long situation nearly devastated us. Political opponents still get off on all the situation cost us. So believe me, my personal experience won't let me throw a blanket of blind approval over all law enforcement and those in authority. Still, last night's disgusting acts that snuffed out officers' lives is exponentially worse than any one bad cop, his union bosses, and the media's verbose attempts to intimidate and falsely accuse. So, if we're to take sides, I side with the thin blue line. To side with our public servants trying to keep law and order amidst public agendas that clearly oppose that virtue is how the good guys win again. It's the only way to ensure our best days will be ahead of us. Join me. Do not let today's agenda redefine what it means to be an American. Do not sit still for it to fundamentally transform America. God created us equally and not with the spirit of fear. We're given the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Use it, Sarah Palin. Congratulations to our friend Darrell Glenn, the GOP nominee now for U.S. Senate in Colorado. After appearing on this show, the Palin-endorsed patriot won big. Palin wrote on Facebook after the victory, "Wow, finally got to spend time with Colorado's next U.S. Senator, the GOP primary winner, Darrell Glenn. His career has been in dedication to our country. We should be thankful he's willing to continue to serve on a new battlefield. We need Darrell Glenn's military might and ethos for such a time as this. Let's help him get through the general election, then on to Washington. Thank you, Colorado, for nominating him and sharing him with the rest of America." And you could help Darrell Glenn by going to electdarrellglenn.com. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpac.com. Tamara Colbert is on assignment this week. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. We have done it without having to fight. We have done it without a bullet being fired. Dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent nation. These are the words of Nigel Farage after Brexit passed. Nigel Farage is my new hero. He is one smart guy. And he went on further to say, this is a victory for ordinary people, for good people, for decent people, he said. The people who've had enough of the merchant bankers. All the economic naysayers are ridiculous and careless. In economics, there are always trade-offs. Some are better off, some are worse off. Trump pointed this out with his comments about the British pound, but most people were too stupid to connect the dots. If the British pound falls relative to all other currencies, then that is good for British exports and British tourism because goods are cheaper. The British banks who went long on the pound may not be better off in the short run, but that was speculative to begin with. And once these regulations are removed or reduced, it will be easier to start and run businesses, retain profits, and invest in the future. Brexit is the British shot heard round the world. Rule Britannia. This is Sarah Steelman from Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Juan Hernandez, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lorianne Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.